couldn't believe it was happening. And I did lots of interviews, and I got on the radar of Justin McCulca, who was a reporter for Smog at the time, reporting on the issue. And he wanted to interview me. We met at the conference. He wanted to interview me because he heard an NPR piece that was just an industry fluff piece, and he wanted to get my side of the story. And so we met and we talked, and then he added the story of me and what happened in Watertown in his book on page 115. But I just want to clear, there's a little mix-up here. So it says, in the highlighted section, days before the conference, an ethanol train derailed near Zarling's home in Wisconsin, and several cars ruptured, spilling 1,000 gallons of ethanol into the Mississippi River. Now, Watertown is not near the Mississippi River.
No, it isn't. Not at all.
So that's a little mistake there. And then it says the next day an oil train derailed in nearby Watertown. 1,000 gallons of oil spilled, but luckily did not ignite. You know, as I said, I do believe this book is the Bible of what you should know about this stuff. It really is very important information. However, I do have to say I'm surprised that he didn't ask me for clarification before he published the book, because now here it is. So the real correct thing that happened was on November 7th, there was a derailment in the Upper Mississippi Wildlife Refuge outside of La Crosse, Wisconsin, and that derailed 20,000 gallons or more of ethanol into the Mississippi River. And then in Watertown the next day, then we had our train derail with the 1,000 gallons. So that is a little clarification there, just to be clear. So they were each in separate days. And then I just wanted to share really quick too, this is the lacrosse group's page, and there was just another derailment there in the Mississippi River in April, and according to Guy Wolf from up there, he said it's the fourth major derailment on this same 35-mile stretch of track of the Upper Mississippi River National Wildlife Refuge since 2007. So, and a lot of the reason why that happens is because the tracks run right along the water, and then they flood and they get washed out, and the trains try and go over the flooded tracks, and it doesn't end well. And that's actually how that derailment that I mentioned in Iowa that derailed like the 200,000 gallons.
That way.
Thank you.
Yep, you're good.
That's actually how that happened as well. Let's see here now.
That was last April?
Speaking just a couple months ago, yep. So speaking of fact checking, I actually also need to fact check myself. This is an op-ed that was published that I wrote. It was published in the Wisconsin Examiner earlier this week, and I also thank WisPolitics for picking it up as well. So I'm very thankful that this important information was able to get out there. However, I had a huge oversight, and I said that 60 cars derailed, and it was, or 60, there were 60 tankers, and it was really 63. So I just have to clear that up because I need to be right. And then also I fact-checked myself on this interview that I did with CBC Canada following the derailment in Watertown. There are some things about it that didn't sit well with me, and so after all these years, I thought it's time to clear them up. And so I'm happy that I was able to do that. And one of my major oversights was saying that the train stopped practically on a dime after we heard the boom of the derailment. And I went back and I said that that's definitely not true, because trains still have braking systems from the 1850s. They do not have modern braking systems. So if they did, my quote would have held. But trains take at least a half mile to stop with the old braking systems. And so then what I said couldn't be accurate, and I recommended that we not try and give estimations of measurements of time when we're in a fight or flight crisis situation, because we lose track of time and reality while we're in that state. So I traveled to Pittsburgh to go to that conference. This is an aerial shot of Pittsburgh flying in. It's a lovely city, but when you're an oil train activist, then you look at things differently. This was the fine group of folks that I met there. I'm still in touch with a lot of them, and I have to thank their Stand.Earth now. At the time they were Forest Ethics. I would not have been able to go to that conference experience, and I would not know much of the information that I'm sharing with you today if not for them. So I need to thank them. Thank you very much.
Yep.
I need to thank them for everything that they do and have done for me and the world. While we were at the conference, Fred Millar, who I am happy and thankful to call a friend, gave a very moving presentation about community right to know. And he did this right in front of a couple people from Pittsburgh in charge of emergency response. And so what he told us, one thing, he says, get the DOT Orange Book so you can look up if you're interested in learning about the placards that you see on tanker cars, whether it's rail, truck, anything with a placard. It has a different color, it has a different number, it has a different class, and they all mean different things. I'm not in the way again.
Oh, you're good.